it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, October 22nd. So we have a pretty big day ahead of us here. I have a lot to cover. I'm going to try and keep it as precise as possible. I'm trying to condense it into a shorter rant than normal because we're also going to cover a lot of this in the ascension forecast for this week and for the astro forecast that should be coming up on your feed for this pretty huge weekend that we are about to have, and in extension to that, very, very intense week at that. So we have the moon in Virgo energy. We will be seeing the moon go void, of course, at 2:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will lock into Libran energy at 9:25 p.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So let's cover what we got going on. First of all, this is a master number day, okay? As you know, not all numerology is a portal, but today I feel is a very special day, not only because it is the 22nd and the 22nd is a master number day, but we also have some pretty important, pretty significant astrology that would suggest that today is going to be a very powerful day. We can expect a lot of light codes coming in, a lot of ascension symptoms being activated. I would expect that this will be eventually reflected on the Schumann Resonance because this is a huge day. Why? Okay, so first of all, it is the last day of Saturn being retrograde. It is the last day of Libra season. It is the last day of Venus being in her place of power in Libra. We have Venus and the Sun coming together as a chasmy. I'll talk about that in a little bit. We are closing out a 5-year cycle. We are beginning a brand new one. We have a lot of energy building to wrap up this Libra season lesson, and we are about to transition into Scorpio season. A lot coming at us here tomorrow. So with the aspects playing out here today, as we run through them one by one, I'm sure you will start seeing the significance of why this particular day is so important. I also just want to kind of throw it out there that the bridge between Libra season and Scorpio season is a very magical one, very energetic one, very oriented to spirit. So we got a lot going on. We can expect the intensity to build, to rise as we move throughout the day. Now, let's just go back to the moon for a second. When the moon comes out of Virgo energy, which has been in earth energy, grounded, practical, logical, sorting out our thoughts and feelings, organizing our physical realms, into Libran energy, we're moving up into the mental plane, trying to balance things out, trying to come to some kind of agreement. It's very interesting that we are ending Libra season off with a Libra moon. It is very interesting to me that we are having Venus and the Sun come together, creating this ripple effect in our cosmos as the moon is void in this Virgo energy, providing us with a little bit of grounding, a little bit of stability, a little bit of down-to-earth energies right before the moon shifts into Libran energy. I find this very interesting. It is setting a beautiful stage for the absolute intense transformational weekend/week that we are about to have. I do encourage you, if you're listening to this Friday-ish, if you're able to tune in to the Ascension forecast, the live chat here tonight, 7:30, Friday night, Eastern Standard Time, definitely meet up with us. We have a beautiful community there. We're going to be talking about a lot. This is one of the most powerful freaking weeks that I would hesitate to say that we've had all year, but I'm going to say it anyways. This is the most powerful week of energies that we have had thus far all year and that we will have thus far in the rest of the year. If you want to go ahead and listen to the energy forecast that I put out at the beginning of the year for 2022, look up part 4 and let's take a listen because it is going to be a super, super intense weekend and week. So let's jump into it. Right out of the gate, we have a tough energy. The day starts off tough. The energy lightens as we progress through the day. So just keep that in mind. The moon is going to be interacting with Saturn in a very tough way that would kind of put us in a situation where we are feeling very tense, very pressured. We are feeling the stress. We are feeling the weight of the world on our shoulders, especially when it comes to figuring out our lives, figuring out our plan, figuring out our direction. This can lead us in a little bit of a negative narrative, a little bit of a negative Nancy attitude. We bring out all the mean girls. We really beat ourselves up. We're tearing ourselves down at this particular point. We tap into the shadow realm of the Virgo energy, which is overly judgmental and highly critical of oneself, where we kind of pick ourselves apart in order to rebuild ourselves in a better way. Saturn, Mr. Karma himself, likes to pressurize us, likes to give us the tough love life lessons. He is in his final hours of being in a retrograde, being inward, being reflective, having this pressure for us to reflect back on all the different life lessons that we've had thus far and actually pluck out those silver linings so that when we can start moving forward, that we can integrate that knowledge, those resources, that information, those life lessons, and not make the same mistakes again, okay? So this comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of tension. Adding to that pressure and tension, we have Mercury in Libran energy interacting with Uranus, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. Now we have ruler of the mental plane going head to head in a little bit of an awkward interaction here with the Great Awakener, okay? We are going to be severely challenged in our mental plane. It's going to be hard to focus. It's going to be hard to communicate. We are being misunderstood. Our message is not coming across the way that we would like. In the same regard, we are not hearing people for the way that they want to be heard. We are kind of scrutinizing them, criticizing them, hearing what they're saying through the filter of judgment, of criticism. A lot of that because the moon is still in Virgo, okay? We are going to really struggle with decision making. We're in Libra season anyways. Mercury in Libra sits on the fence and very indecisive about things anyways. But we may actually have an urgency to come to some kind of a decision because, again, we're wrapping up Libra season here and there is this intense pressure building on us. What I will say is that you are likely going to make a poor decision if you force yourself to make a decision here today. If you force yourself into making a commitment, it's probably going to be one that you are going to regret. I would say, even though we are going to be pressurized and feel like we need to commit and align with a path and make a decision and choose the choice, I would say hold off if you could possibly do that. I would say that we are going to be highly disorganized, not only in our physical realms, but definitely in our inner realms with our thoughts and with our emotions. And I would say that there is going to be a lot of intense impulses to speak out, to share, to communicate, which I don't think we should do. I think we should hold back on that. Again, the energy is not providing us with a clean slate to clearly articulate ourselves and to have that message received by the people that we want to receive it in a very pleasant way. It is not happening. There is a disconnect happening. That doesn't mean that there isn't this intensity to want to share, to want to express, to want to communicate, to want to have these conversations. It just means that we should resist that impulse as much as possible because it's not going to work out in our favor. So we have that working against us. Now the moon is going to go ahead and sit across from, directly conflict with Neptune. As you know, Virgo energy that the moon is sitting in and Pisces energy that Neptune is sitting in, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. What they have in common is the want, need, and desire to heal. What they have in common is to basically be of service. Virgo energy wants to heal and be of service here in this physical realm. Pisces wants to heal and be of service in the spiritual realm. Emotionally speaking, because we're in Virgo energy, we are more reliant on the information, the data, the statistics, the logical, practical intellect of the here and now. And the Neptune energy being retrograde in Pisces wants us to abandon all that, to trust the universe, to rely on our intuition, to rely on our vision, to rely on our dreams and our goals. This is a conflict. We have to meet ourselves in the middle. If we are too stuck in the here and now, reliant on the physical realm to dictate what is possible for us, then we will essentially be stuck in this loop forever. If we do not allow the door to be open to the magical realm of the cosmos, of the universe, to the possibilities that await us, we will be stuck in this physical loop hell for the rest of our lives. Again, Virgo energy, mind over matter. What we focus on will come true. It would be advisable to allow yourself to let the guard down in your intellect just a tad, to allow the magic of the cosmos and the universe and the possibilities that await us to actually have a voice, to have an image, to have a presence in your inner realm. We have to balance those scales. Is it going to be easy? No. That's why we're in an opposition between these two. But it would be highly advisable to turn the knob down in your emotions and in your mental plane to a realistic, grounded perspective and turn the volume up on the knob that is magic, dreams, goals, and creativity where the spiritual realm is concerned. That is our higher self. This is very much lower ego level versus higher spirit self. It's going to be tough, but we got to do it. Here's where the energy shifts, okay? Here's where we start picking up a little bit. About an hour later, the moon goes ahead and just steps back just a tad for the sun to come in and interact with Neptune. Now, the sun is our life force energies at the very ending points, at critical degrees of Libra season. We're about to wrap Libra season up. What do we want to wrap up in Libra season? Well, we want to find some kind of stability, some kind of balance. We want to make some kind of peace with the terms of our lives. We want to find a little bit of love, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, a little bit of harmony in our lives. And this is a positive interaction with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces, which is our spiritual self, which is our dreams, which is our visions, which is these life lessons that have been very tough and very much in our face in order for us to live in the extremes, to find some kind of comfort in the middle ground. The sun is shining a bright light on our higher selves, on our vision, on our dreams. This is when we align with our higher selves and we bring some of the things that we've been formulating in our mind space, in our heart space, in our soul plan, into our earth realm. The sun, again, very, very connected to what we have to do in this earth plane in order to achieve, again, the love, the peace, the balance, the harmony that we're actively trying to seek. This is a good energy. Then Venus goes ahead and makes the same kind of interaction with Neptune. Neptune is the higher form of Venus. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and worth and value and pleasure in this 3D realm. Neptune is the higher octave, meaning that once we look at everything that we're able to control in this physical realm, everything outside of that, our spiritual selves, our dreams, our goals, our vision, our insight, our abilities to connect, our consciousness, that is the Neptune realm. And Venus interacting with Neptune, especially in this positive way, brings a level of manifestation to this earth realm. If we're able to focus on it, if we're able to envision it, if we're able to invoke an emotion, a positive one of love and happiness and joy and abundance, we are able to anchor in, to root in the seeds that need to be planted in our higher selves and in our lower selves to actually bring whatever it is that we're percolating in our inner realm to life, okay? This is a beautiful, magical force of energy. Then the moon goes ahead and has a positive interaction with Saturn, who is preparing to go direct. Now, this is a positive interaction, which means that we're not getting beat down with, criticism and negative Nancy thoughts. We're not getting drilled with life lessons. We are being supported. We are being encouraged to ground out our here and now, where it is that we're at, where it is that we desire to be. And we are logically and practically starting to take steps and make moves in our inner realm to plan out how it is that we are going to build this new dream, this new vision, this new reality that over the last 5 months has become very much in our face due to karmic contracts changing, new roles and responsibilities being forced upon us, and recognizing where we've been so weak in our boundaries that we had sacrificed our own happiness, our own wants, needs, and desires to do what we thought everybody else else wanted us to do or what we thought other people were expecting us to do. This is a beautiful thing. We're taking a grounded, practical approach to our emotions, to our inner realm, to the aha moments that we just had. We're learning how to apply them in the here and now so that we can bring something to life. Now here, 12:28 p.m., midday, we're having a little bit of a conflict, a little bit of a tension point, but it's needed, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. The moon is getting into the boxing ring, squaring Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger if need be. Mars is in Gemini energy, preparing to go retrograde on the 30th. This is going to be a big deal. It takes us into 2023. It slows us down as far as our physical action goes. It makes us a little bit confused on our passions and on our desires. But that's happening for a reason, because we have all of these outer planets coming out of a retrograde and going forward. It's almost like we're jumping on the gas here, right? But Mars is like, okay, we have to control ourselves, because Mars has a tendency to go balls to the walls and burn himself out long before he ever reaches his goal. Going retrograde is going to provide us with enough energy to make solid, stable steps forward, meaning we are really getting a lesson in energy management, meaning that we have all of these other aspects pushing us forward, creating a new landscape for our realities to exist in. But Mars being retrograde means that we're kind of being restricted just a little bit. So we might have our foot on the gas, but the universe kind of has the Jake brake up. Okay. So there's some turbulence, there's some bucking, if you will. We are making a little bit of progress, but basically Mars is going to be frustrated because he's not able to go balls to the walls like he would prefer to do. So the moon interacting with Mars right now, we kind of have ants in our pants. We're frustrated because we have these ideas coming at us. There's this intensity. We have all these planets building up to the 29th degree of this Libran energy. We have Saturn ready to bust out of his retrograde and go forward. We have this eclipse energy that we're sitting in, that we are just under the merciful surrendering to the cosmos, to the universe, to sort us out and put us on the path that we need to be. There's a lot going on. So we could manifest a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of agitation. Why? Because we want to move faster than what we're allowed to move right now. We don't even have a plan in place. We don't even really have a path or a direction identified, but Mars doesn't care. Mars just wants to take action for the sake of taking action. So we have all of this anger, we have all this frustration and agitation coming up in us right now because the moon in Virgo wants us to act in a logical, practical, strategic, and calculated way in order to bring forth some of the new ideas and some of the new dreams and visions. However, Mars over here, jacked up on juice, wants to go so freaking fast and not abide by the plan, by the strategy that we have to have in place in order to do things right. So there's a little bit of a tension here. But what this is going to do is really show us through our anger, agitation, and frustration what it is that we're actually passionate about, what it is that we actually desire to do, which is never a bad thing. The moon goes ahead and trines Pluto. This is the last aspect that the moon in Virgo is going to make before going void, of course. And it's a good one. It's a positive one. The over-analytical brain, if you will, in our emotions and in our headspace that the moon in Virgo has provided us with meshes very well with Pluto, who is now still very much direct, just not moving fast because he's still not up to speed. Pluto's the great transformer. And we have to have the transformation in our mental plane, in our psyche, before we can change our emotions. And when our psyche and when our emotions have shifted because of an aha moment, because of an epiphany, because of a revelation, because of the changes being forced upon us, we get our heart and head in alignment, and then we're good to go to involve and engage the physical body to go ahead and take action to actually bring to life some of the changes that are already coming forth within us, within our inner realm. So this is a beautiful thing because this is like an empowerment. We've had an aha moment. We have a revelation. We're using some of the pain and the trauma and the suffering, some of the frustration, some of the irritability that we've all experienced for not knowing how we are going to proceed forward. We're using that as a fuel to keep the fire lit within us so that we can be hell-bent, damn well and determined to not let anything stop us. This is like us realizing that we are in control, we are in power, We are the ones that get to change our minds, that get to change our emotions, to get to change how it is that we look at certain situations and how we are going to use certain situations, especially the negative ones, to fuel our passion and our desire to push ourselves forward, to actually make something good out of a lot that has been bad. This is a beautiful thing. Then the moon goes void, okay? This is where things get shaky. This is where things are very unstable. We do not want to make any decisions or commit to anything. We want to ride this out and actually wait until the moon is stabilized and locks into Libran energy. So this takes place at 2:18 p.m. At 5:18 p.m., we have Venus conjunct, sitting next to, teaming up with, bumping into the sun at a 29 degree in Libran energy. So if you haven't listened to Venus in Scorpio, the astro forecast that I put out for this particular transit, I'm going to recommend that you do that, because I go on a little bit of a tangent, a little bit of a rant when I first jump into it about Venus and the sun having this amazing interaction at a 29th degree in Libra. First of all, I'll give you the summarized version. When you follow Venus's orbit pattern throughout the cosmos, she makes what looks like a flower, okay? This is where we get the flower of life from. Of course, the sun is life force energy. Venus is our heart chakra. It's everything that we love. It's everything that means something to us. And she makes a beautiful flower pattern in the cosmos. It takes her 5 years to do that. Venus and the sun coming together right now is called the star point, okay? It's basically the last petal that is taking place in Venus's orbit. It takes 5 years to get to this last petal point, if you will, which means that not only are we closing out the last 5 years of Venus's journey through the cosmos, through love, through relationships, through self-worth, through money matters, through figuring out what is actually worthy of her time, energy, and attention and love, what it is that she actually values in life, the happiness, the joy, the pleasure factor. But now we're opening up a brand new chapter. We're closing one out, we're starting one new. Now, this is the first time in like 150 years that they have met up in this Libran energy at a 29th degree. So it's kind of a big deal. Venus and the sun, they always meet up every year, either anywhere between 9 and 13 months, depending on the sign, depending on the particular orbit that Venus is in proximity to the sun. Anytime that the sun bumps into any planet, it's a brand new chapter, a brand new series. So having Venus and the sun come together in this way to finish off this old cycle, to initiate this brand new cycle, to complete the last petal of the flower of life for us as we begin a new one. This is a time where there is a fresh cycle for us to begin. So what is it that we are beginning? Well, a new relationship cycle. You will likely see new people come into your realm. They're likely soul family. They're here for a specific reason. This is us kind of being reawakened, if you will, to a new level of love, a new level of worth, a new level of beauty. This is opening our eyes to making sure that all the choices that we make from here on out are based on achieving the balance and the peace that we all need in our lives. This is where new connections are made. This is where we have the want, need, and desire to reach out to those that we love, and to reach out in the astral realm to those that need to be ushered into our lives. So this is a pretty big deal. This happens, again, 5:18 p.m. while the moon is still in Virgo energy. So again, mind, what's going on in your mind, has the potential to be brought to life and created here in this earthly realm in matter. That's what the moon in Virgo provides us with. So 6:32, we have the moon still in Virgo, but void of course, interacting very awkwardly with the true node, our soul's path, our destiny point. That means that we really don't know what it is that we're doing as far as moving forward, as far as our plan goes. That's okay. We're in eclipse season. Eclipse season is going to sort us out. If you feel like you're on the verge of something new, a cusp of a new beginning, you can't quite put your finger on it, Trust me, by the time eclipse season is over, you're going to know the direction, you're going to know the path, you're going to have a new mission, you're going to have a new purpose. But right now, our egoic mind, our emotions, and our mental plane aren't really working adequately in order to provide us with a logical, practical plan in moving forward. The moon goes ahead and bumps into the sun in a way that would suggest that there's likely some triggers and activations coming at us from our external realm. The moon, of course, is our emotions, our intuition, our past situations and experience, our unconscious selves. The sun, again, final degrees of Libra, shining a bright light on what it is that we have to do in order to achieve the love, the balance, the peace, the harmony in our lives. This overlap is very much the past versus the future. And what we're left with is this present moment where we get to choose. Are we going to let go of some of the things that we know are blocking us from truly moving on to the path that will eventually bring us to our objective, to our goal, to our dream, to our vision, which is love, which is happiness, which is pleasure, which is balance and peace and harmony in our lives? Or are we going to hold on to that, let it suck us down, and never truly fulfill the dreams, the visions that we're having in our physical reality? Now, let me just shout out to all the people out there that live in their heads, okay? I invite you to be just as happy in your physical realm as you've made up in La La Land. And you're able to do that as long as you take action in your physical realm to maneuver and manipulate the elements in your lives that's actually preventing you from living out the fantasy that you're very happy to live in your inner realm. The moon bumps into Venus in a similar way, because of course the sun and Venus are together. They're traveling together. They are still so close together that they're blending their energies together. So emotionally speaking, we are in a situation where the triggers and the activations that just got illuminated to us in our exterior realm, where it put us in a position in the here and now to choose whether we are going to abandon some of the things that we know are blocking us from truly reaching and achieving our dreams and our visions, has a lot to do with our personal relationships. That's Venus. She's showing us where it is that maybe we are too caught up in the identity of who it is that we are in this particular relationship to give it up, to see what awaits us if we broke free of it. But guess what? We are rapidly changing our worth and our value within ourselves. And the people that we choose in our lives are merely a reflection on how it is that we think and feel about ourselves. And every single time we level up in our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-esteem, the people in our lives change. That's what we're going through. We are in the very, very beginnings of a brand new 5-year cycle where relationships are concerned. And this particular aspect of having this trigger, having this activation is meant to illuminate for us where it is that maybe we have to let go with some people, rearrange their roles in our lives, and get very real with doing the work within ourselves so that we can get to a point of love, of nurturing, of wellness within ourselves, to start inviting in people of the same vibration and frequency so that we're not constantly, in relationships that are mirroring back the pain, the trauma, and the wounds that we're failing to address within ourselves. Here is where there's another fun, interesting part. Mercury trines Saturn. Saturn is merely hours away from going direct, okay? So this is a big deal. This is adding another level of power onto the level of power that Saturn normally has anyways. There's a huge emphasis, there's a huge intensity with this particular interaction. Mercury is the mental plane. Saturn is karma, foundations, and systems. They are trining together, which means that they are harmonizing, blending their energies together, blending their powers together. And what do we get from that? First of all, we get very real in our mental plane. We get very grounded. We get clear-cut vision focus on what it is that we need to do to A, step in our power and actually believe that we deserve to be there. B, step into the elements that we actually have control over and actually do something about it. And C, strategize and make a step-by-step plan and strategy to actually bring to life some of the ideas, some of the visions, some of the dreams that have been percolating and steeping within us. This is a beautiful energy. This is an intense energy in our mental plane. We are receiving higher visions from the Aquarian energy that Saturn is in, a greater, grander vision of the future, a greater, grander vision of where it is that we want to be. Bring it into the lower level intellect that Mercury rules over and start applying logic, practicality, and plan an actual strategy on how it is that we are going to take action and make moves to create a system, a routine, and a foundation strong enough to actually build upon, to bring some of these elements to life. Very, very super exciting. The last aspect that we have here today, it's a very busy day in the cosmos, if you haven't noticed already, is the moon sitting across from, directly opposing Jupiter. Now, here's why I say it with a dramatic effect. First of all, the moon is in Libra now, just shifted into Libran energy. The very first aspect that the moon in Libra makes is sitting across the table and having a little bit of a conflict, a little bit of a confrontation with Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, and abundance, who is retrograde at a 0 degree in Aries energy, preparing to slip back into Pisces energy later on in the week. This is a big deal. Now, Jupiter magnifies, turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. The moon in Libra just wants to stay in the shallow end, just wants everything to be peachy keen, just wants everybody to get along. We want to love, we want balance, we want peace, we want harmony. But guess what? Libra season is almost over. This very small, very, very small window of time, we're literally talking merely hours here. The sun is in the final degree of Libra. Venus is in the final degree of Libra. The moon is now in the first degrees of Libra, the opposite spectrum here. And we are trying to take in all that has transpired over this last month and trying to make peace with it, trying to harmonize the pain with the power, the good with the bad, in order to stay in a balanced scenario in our emotions. And then we have Jupiter just shining a bright light on and magnifying where it is that, guess what? We're not so balanced. We're not feeling so peachy keen. We're not so happy. We're not so peachy. We're not so bubbly, if you will. And instead, because Jupiter is about to slip back into Pisces energy, we're having a lot of the same thoughts and feelings that we would have just be beginning to have back in April and May of this year. And it's very much this edginess, this intensity, like we are waiting for somebody to shoot the gun off in a race, and we're afraid that we're going to jump the gun, and we're afraid that we're going to not have the impulse or the reactivity to act as the gun goes off. We're very jumpy, okay? We're very intense, we're very edgy. But what this is doing is magnifying for us all of the emotions that at this point are a little bit intense, a little bit cray-cray. Okay, we are about to, and this is at 10:18 p.m. So when we get to the very wee hours, the very early hours of the 23rd, we're in Scorpio season, my friends. So there is this jolt, like, where's the growth? What have we expanded our minds to? Where have we opened our heart space up to? Where have we actually made progress in achieving balance and stability and safety and security and love and peace and harmony and all these good things, right? The moon in Libra wants that so freaking bad. Don't get me wrong. We really, really want it. But Jupiter's like, okay, let's just put this magnifying glass in on the last month and review where it is that growth actually happened. Where did you improve? Where have you changed your ideas, your beliefs about yourself, about the relationships, about what it is that you need to do in order to achieve peace and balance and love and harmony and stability in your lives? He's really putting it to us. And it can feel very overwhelming because, of course, Jupiter just tends to magnify and turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And right now, we're living in a false sense of happiness. There's an edginess to us. We're all up in arms. We don't know if we're coming or going. But yet this mask that Libra likes to wear to make everybody think that everything is okay. It's like a duck, right? The happy little duck swimming around in the pond just looks so peaceful, looks so calm. And underneath the water, the little feet are going so fast that it looks like they could break off them all together, right? Just chaos underneath the water. That's exactly how we are all thinking, all feeling, all behaving, but yet we're wearing this smiley mask to ensure the other people in our world that we're doing okay. And Jupiter is shining a bright light on this fake mask that we are wearing and asking us to get very real with what it is that we've been able to accomplish, what it is that we failed at, where it is that the scales are still out of balance, and what we plan on doing in order to achieve that balance and goal. And let me tell you, this is a perfect setup for us to dive into the Scorpio waters where we got to get real with ourselves, where we have to do the shadow work, where we have to dive to the depths, to the bottom of the pool in order to unearth some of the unconscious patterns and behaviors that are constantly coming up for us each and every single day that are blocking us from actually going after what it is that our heart truly wants, needs, and desires. So today is going to be quite a day. That is your rundown. That is your warning. That is your caution flag. Do with it what you will. It all comes down to how we allow this energy to manifest. And it is always advisable to pick the highest road, to pick the highest vibration and frequency of each of these energetic aspects, and just be aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, and how the energy is actually playing with you.